Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever just sat there staring at a blank screen, literally wondering where on earth your next project is going to come from, yeah, you know the feast or famine cycle all too well. One month you're absolutely drowning in work, and the next, crickets. Total silence. Well, you're in the exact right place to fix that. Today, we're totally demystifying the client acquisition process. We're going to take it and turn it into a highly actionable, step-by-step routine, focusing specifically on the concrete steps behind effective outreach.
And that brings us to this idea. Finding clients isn't about luck, it's about consistency. You know, we always hear these romanticized stories of someone getting their big break, just stumbling into some massive contract while waiting in line at a coffee shop. But the source material for today just rips the band-aids right off that idea. It sets this beautifully structured, super motivational baseline. If you want to succeed, you've got to trade that lottery ticket mentality for a reliable system. When you just rely on luck, you're handing over control of your business. But when you rely on consistency, you're building a compounding machine. Every single action moves you closer to that next contract.
So, here is our freelancer's blueprint for today. We're covering 1. The myth of luck. 2. Sourcing potential clients. 3. Research and analysis. 4. Crafting personalized messages. And finally, 5. Organization and consistency. Let's dive in.
Section 1. The myth of luck. This is all about mindset and setup.
Okay, let's literally walk through the journey of a freelancer's day. Notice how it kicks off at 8 a.m. It doesn't start with frantically checking emails. No way. It begins with workspace setup. Picture a clean workspace, your laptop, a fresh cup of coffee, maybe a notebook, all in that nice morning light. That aesthetic, it actually sets the psychological tone for the whole day. By 9 a.m., we're onto platform browsing. 11:30 a.m., crafting proposals. And by 2 p.m., we're deep into organizing our spreadsheet. Now let's pause on that 2 p.m. block for a second, because structuring your admin work in the afternoon is honestly brilliant. It lets you use your peak morning energy for that deep, creative outreach and shifts the data entry to a time when your brain just needs a mechanical breather. The psychological benefit of a strict routine like this is massive. It completely eliminates decision fatigue. You don't have to stress about what to do next. The schedule just dictates it. And the ultimate payoff for all this structure? At 5 p.m., boom, you get that client reply notification. Acquiring clients isn't some random event. It's a meticulously orchestrated day.
Moving right along, Section 2. Sourcing potential clients. Exactly where to find these leads.
There is just this incredibly diverse ecosystem of lead generation out there right now. We're talking LinkedIn, Upwork, Fiverr, Instagram, Google Maps, direct company websites. The sheer breadth of avenues you can target is staggering. You don't have to just sit around waiting for clients to find you on one specific platform. You can proactively hunt. But, and this is an absolutely crucial insight here, you have to change your approach based on the environment. Browsing LinkedIn requires a vastly different outreach mindset than, say, looking up local businesses on Google Maps. On LinkedIn, you're tapping into a professional network, right? You're looking at mutual connections, commenting on posts, engaging in thought leadership before you ever slide into a direct message. It's a networking play. But if you're scraping Google Maps for local plumbers or dentists, totally different approach. You're looking at their storefront, checking if they even have a functional website, reading their recent customer reviews to find a gap in their service that you can solve. Basically, you absolutely have to adapt your strategy to the specific platform you're sourcing from.
Which brings us to Section 3, Research and Analysis. Diagnosing the problem.
Now, there is a very strict order of operations for outreach here. Research businesses, analyze their needs, and only then do you send personalized messages. Pay super close attention to the sequence. So many amateurs just jump straight to sending the message, but the source is explicit about this. Every single day, we must meticulously research and analyze before our fingers ever even hit the keyboard. I mean, you can't offer a solution if you haven't taken the time to thoroughly diagnose the problem first. Let's really dig into that middle step, analyzing their needs. What exactly are you looking for here? Well, if you're a web designer, you're clicking through their site looking for broken links, poor mobile optimization, outdated branding. If you're a copywriter, maybe you're reading their blog to see if it hasn't been updated since like 2021, or checking their socials for inconsistent messaging. You are actively searching for the exact pain point that your specific skill set can immediately relieve. That diagnosis, that is a fuel for everything that comes next.
All right, Section 4, Crafting Personalized Messages. The real power of typing.
Generic pitches fail. Period. Successful outreach relies entirely on typing highly personalized messages for every single lead. Think about it like this. Every keystroke has a purpose. You're taking all that deep research we just talked about and using it to speak directly to a business's specific pain points. Let's look at a quick contrast here. A bad copy-paste template sounds kind of like this. Dear Sir or Madam, I am a web developer who can make your site look great. Let's schedule a call. Yeah, that gets deleted in about 3 seconds flat. Now, compare that to a highly personalized message born from actual analysis. Hi, Sarah. I loved your recent LinkedIn post about expanding your accounting firm into the Denver market. I noticed the service page for that new location on your website is currently returning a 404 error. I'm a web developer, and I can fix that routing for you this afternoon so you don't lose any of that incoming traffic. Do you see the difference? It's night and day. Copy and paste templates simply do not work. If you want to stand out, your outreach absolutely has to prove that you've done the homework. And finally, Section 5, Organization and Consistency, Tracking Your Success. You know, there is a stark psychological contrast between amateurs and professionals in this game. An amateur quits after a few rejections, while a professional knows every outreach increases the chance of landing the next project. Look, rejection in freelancing is inevitable. It's a visceral, honestly painful feeling sometimes. Most people just give up after hearing their third or fourth no. But relying on a structured system, that acts as a shield against burnout. If you zoom out and look at the mathematical reality, consistent outreach always increases your odds of success. It's really about shifting your perspective entirely. You move away from feeling personally defeated by a rejection, and instead, you start recognizing it as just another piece of data on the way to a yes. A no isn't a failure, guys. It's simply a filter that clears the path to the client who actually needs you right now.
Manage the process. Organizing leads in a dedicated spreadsheet is exactly how we track and grow our business. It's just you, the screen reflections, and your data. Now, it might not sound super glamorous, but methodically tracking your leads, your follow-ups, and your conversion rates is the absolute backbone of a sustainable freelance business. So what exactly should this tracker look like? Well, don't overcomplicate it, but definitely be thorough. You need dedicated columns for company name, contact person, date of first outreach, the specific pain point diagnosed during your research, and most importantly, the follow-up date. If you aren't tracking when to follow up, you are literally leaving money on the table. Following up is often where the actual conversion happens because it proves your reliability and persistence. This one simple spreadsheet turns a chaotic scramble for work into a totally predictable, manageable pipeline.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to honestly ask yourself, are you relying on luck, or are you building the consistency required for your next client notification? I really hope this breakdown challenges your current routine and inspires you to take these highly specific, actionable steps back to your own workspace. Stop waiting for the lucky break and start executing the system.